Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live stream. I'm very happy to be here today with a very special guest. Kim Alter is the chef owner of Nightbird and Linden Room Restaurants, and he's making her first solo project in San Francisco Hayes Valley. She works at the helm of kitchens such as Haven and Plum in Oakland, California. Prior to that, she has worked in some of the Bay Area's most notable restaurant kitchens, including Manresa, Ubuntu, Aqua, and Acquerello. Alter's menus showcase a commitment to technique, whole animal cookery, and support of local farms. Her food often takes familiar dishes to new places with creative spins on classic. And Kim earned a James Beard nomination in 2019 and 2020, Sustainable Chef of the Year from Star Chefs and Top 100 Restaurants from the Chronicle in 2019 and 2020. Kim, thank you very much for making the time available to talk with me. Of course, when I first reached out to you, probably you said, what someone, I would say, with an engineering background is talking and trying to connect with a chef. As I told you, we started, oh, hold on, just give me a second. Okay. People are saying that there is an echo. There is an echo in the sound. So let me try just to sort out here. Just hold on. Okay. Okay. So let me, I just put you, Kim, on mute to make sure that we don't have this problem. I will turn your mic off. So as I was mentioning, one of the biggest challenges we faced last year was about career. So as I told many times, I have two daughters and one of them was graduating, and and when COVID comes, it just wiped out every single possibility and this. So people got very, I would say, frustrated, anxious, people about their future and their career. And this made me to decide to record a series called What Matters about life, career, and how you can make a fulfilling career. And on the top of that, so what I decided to do is to interview people from absolutely different backgrounds from myself, and this is what I want to hear from you, Ken. So I want to start asking you a question. It's how to become a chef happened to your life. Can you tell me your path to that?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk with you and hopefully, inspire people, especially during this hard time. So for me, I always think I wanted to be a chef, and I really think that it stemmed from hospitality and that feeling of instant gratification and appreciation. So in grade school, whenever I had a project or something, I'd always somehow tie in food. And, when I changed schools, I thought that was a good way to meet new people. So if I had a project about like atoms and nucleuses, I'd make like little cupcakes to give to my classmates. And right away you saw that like happiness in them. And I think that just translated like throughout my whole life. And I worked in restaurants since I was 15. And whether it was in the front of the house and being able to see people's, celebrating and just happiness, to then working my way into a kitchen and then going to culinary school and now owning a restaurant.
That is wonderful. A follow-up question to you. It's how people around you, your colleagues, a family, they felt about you deciding to turn this passion into a business and into a means of living. Okay, so how this happened to you? How these people felt about that?
Well, I think right off the bat, I chose not to go to college, which both my parents are kind of disappointed. They both, have masters, and they chose careers that really benefited them. And by me not going, I think my mom felt that I was going to miss out on something. But once I went up to San Francisco, went to culinary school, and I started working at Acquerello when I was 18 while I was in school, and my mom came to the restaurant and she saw it. And then from that on, it was, every restaurant she'd come to and supported and was super excited. My dad took a little longer to kind of understand what I was doing. And I mean, when you talk about friends and colleagues, like, I think that is how all of us get through everything, is support and knowledge from the community that we've built. So when I decided I wanted to open a restaurant, the first thing out of everybody's mouths was, how can I help you? What do you need? Here, this is who I use for this. Let's build something for you around something I've already built so I can help you. And I choose now to try to do that if I have a sous chef who wants to open a restaurant, I'm like, well, here's all my resources. Here's the lawyer I use. Here is the broker. Hey, use this farmer. And we always want to share knowledge, I think, in this business, because we are each other's strongest support system. And that is probably a big reason why I am still a cook, because of the connections through the farms and the chefs and the somms, and you've such an interesting, amazing group of people in the hospitality industry, and we really just want to help and bring people up, I think, in most places. So it's been really awesome.
How do you what you just said? It's for many people, I would say, counterintuitive, because we always tend, I would say, in most of the business, to see. If you are a restaurant, you see some other restaurants as competitors, as potential competitors, because clients will go there and not. So, and what you just said to me, it's absolutely the opposite. And how do you manage, I would say, this collaboration, and at the same time manage a business that, of course, has employees, taxes, and everything to pay? So how do you balance these two things?
Well, I think most people think what you just said, and like a really good example of why I think that it's better to have more in your community. Since COVID, in my neighborhood, almost 30 businesses have closed and no one's gone in those spaces. And it scares me that most people would think that like a restaurant around the block would be competition, but I see it as they're bringing more people to the neighborhood. They're bringing more people to support. So you want to help those restaurants that are near you. So like when we go to the farmer's market, and I mean, this is a weird example, but I know this one farm where you can get great peaches at a better price. I'm going to tell my friend who's a chef so then he can use it too. That supports him and it supports the farmer, gives them better costs, and then they can, write it on their menu to make more profit. And it all is like full circle through being able to help people. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just everything's connected, whether it's business or building connections or friendships, whatever it might be, by being positive rather than trying to like hold something all secret, and I think a long time ago, restaurants might have been more like that when there wasn't so much instant gratification like Instagram and social media, where it took you a long time to learn somebody's recipe or know what they were doing, because you couldn't just open up and see what was going on in Portugal. You'd have to go there. You'd have to see something in the newspaper. But now it's just like you want people to have this knowledge and information, and it just benefits you.
Yeah, that is fantastic, because this is something that I can see easily while you are talking, your passion and your joy of doing what you do, and how you could connect this to your business, right? To your business and a sustainable business. One thing that you mentioned that for me, even more in your business, is about fears. Fears, threats. So can you tell me a little bit more on how you manage your fears in terms of career when, for example, suddenly you have to shut down pretty much everything because of the pandemic? I'm talking to you right now, today, in Portugal, where all restaurants in the whole country are closed since January the 8th, and with no forecast of reopening. So how do you manage this as a businesswoman and, with the same time with the responsibility for the employees and for the community, for the farmers? So what is your feeling on that?
Well, if we're talking about fear in general and how I deal with it, it's normally not a good response, especially if you talk to my partner. But if we're talking specifically like about COVID, and I think it was March 17th of last year is when it kind of was announced that we were going to shut down, and me and about 20 other chefs were already in a restaurant discussing how were we going to help each other get through this. And in the time thought it was going to be like 3 weeks, year later, here we are. But, right away, I think as a chef, you're a problem solver. And I think day 2, we started cooking for frontline workers. We started coalitions to figure out how we could get information to people who didn't have maybe accountants and lawyers like a lot of us do, so that they could survive, like all the taquerias, all the smaller end, mom and pop places. We, started nonprofits where we cook for homeless. Like to this day, today, we worked with a program to feed 350 seniors breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then also about 200 homeless clients that are in hotels in San Francisco. And that's today. And we do that almost every day. So by being able to gather with our community, figure out how we could still support the farms, pay our staff, pay our health insurance. We started all these programs to be able to help the food insecure communities in our city. And it's been a lifesaver for sure, and very eye-opening to see all the issues that we have. And now we're all trying to figure out ways that we can fix these problems so it's going to be better when we get out of it. But the fear never leaves. I think that's what pushes me. The fear of closing or of failure, it's a constant drive for me to push myself harder.
And how do you see the future for you? So if you can look a little bit ahead, so what is the path and what is the challenges, the benefits that you see happening for you in terms of career as a chef and a businesswoman in this field?
Again, it depends on what day you ask me, I'd say. But I think that I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I see a bright future for us and for a lot of restaurateurs, like all over. We are banding together to, change things and make faults that were in our industry better. And that has been something that's been driving me throughout this process as well. But I think for us, all I can hope for and all I do see is an evolution of myself and then also Nightbird and Linden Room to change with the times, to change with how we have changed as people in this last year. And that's always the word I like to use. Whenever I hire somebody new, I always tell them I want to see change and evolution. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to learn something from you just as well as you're coming here to learn something from me. So if I'm stagnant, which has been hard not traveling, I feel a little stagnant right now. I feel like I'm stuck in the mud, and that's where I'd see true failure. So I think always pushing and trying to grow and adjust with the economy, adjust with the trends is how you have to be in this business, or else you won't make it.
Fantastic. Another thing that I discussed a lot, and you briefly touch on that, is social media, instant reward, recognition, and in your field, many times, not only in your, but with this event of social media, there is a lot of, I would say, vanity, a lot of you want to become an influencer, people talk about how many people follow you, how many people, and this kind of a more volatile environment. So someone start doing something and suddenly goes up heavily, and then you suddenly discover it's not really like that. So it's something like someone that you are not. how do you handle with this? Because you received so many awards. So how do you handle with this ups and downs? Because maybe tomorrow someone can go to your restaurant, an influencer, and say, no, it was not good for any reason. And then suddenly you need to handle. So how is your relationship with that?
That's hard. I'm ironically, as I'm sitting here on a social media platform with you, saying I'm terrible at it. I need to be better. All of my friends always tell me, chefs who have, hundreds of thousands of followers are always kind of like, Kim, you need to kind of get out of the kitchen and be more upfront and post about what you're doing. And I am always the one in the kitchen kind of teaching the cook how to do what we're doing. And I'm trying to slowly change and be more front facing. But it's always hard because the more front facing you are, also the more criticism you get. And I like to think I'm pretty thick skinned, but sometimes it definitely affects me. And I take things personally because this is very personal. Our restaurants, something that we talk about a lot right now as restaurateurs is that our restaurants are so personal. Like my mom made the napkins, we painted the walls, we, picked out each plate. Every piece of anything in my restaurant is personal to me. So to have it attacked by somebody, it's always hard. And you want people to be happy. I didn't get into this business for money or recognition. I got into it to make people happy and cook and have a career from it. So when you don't see that, it's heartbreaking. And I'm still learning on how to deal with negativity and social media and all those things, because it's kind of new to a lot of us. 10, 15, 20 something years ago when I started cooking, none of this existed. You just had to be a good cook. Now you have to be an advocate and a therapist and, politically active and a good cook and all these things. So it's juggling, and it's just learning as we go. And definitely sometimes I mess up, but it's just constantly trying to evolve and grow into what is now part of our business.
Yeah, it's really not an easy task. But tell me, how many employees do you have now, and how old are they? What's the average, can you tell me a little bit more? What kind of people do you bring to work with you?
Well, pre-COVID, we are a very small restaurant. Our bar only seats 4 people by 4 people. And our restaurant only seats about 28. So all in, we were about 14 employees on a fully busy Saturday night, which is not a lot compared to a lot of restaurants. Right now, due to COVID, I have 2 cooks, a sous chef, a dishwasher, about 8 employees. And then I still have a few servers who are waiting to come back when they can, and we're paying their health insurance. And, we are holding their jobs for them until we're allowed to actually seat people. But we have a pretty good diverse variety. The kitchen staff is definitely somewhere between the 20 and 30-ish age. I have definitely had all women kitchens. Right now I have a mixture of men and women, and all different kind of ethnicities, Latino, Asian, white. And then in the front, it's kind of just me and my partner and a server, and, again, same age range. So me and my partner are the oldest. And, but yeah, we all come from different backgrounds from all over the country. And we try just to pick people that we think will be a good mix, because I don't know if I should say this on here, but whenever I kind of hire somebody, I always say I can teach anybody to make bread or break down a cow, but I can't teach you not to be a jerk. I normally say a different word when I'm talking with someone, but you know what I mean? I can't fix some already inherent problems. So you pick a lot of the people that you hire based on their personality and their desire to learn and how they're going to grow, and what they're going to teach me is more so than their skill level, because all of that can be taught if the person wants to be taught. So we have a pretty awesome team most times.
This is, I loved your answer, because I completely agree, because I think that the subject people can learn. But there are some parts of the DNA and the character that are very hard for you. And this is why it's so important, for example, for us to talk with young generations, with young chefs, that this component of passion, this company of doing the good thing. In all my career, I did pretty much the same. You don't think about the money, you think about what you are doing. And then money comes, money comes, you will find a way if you do the right things. Things just happen. But what we see today is that with this concept of immediate recognition, immediate fame, young generations, they want to go up sharply. They want, for example, Kim, they don't want to do like you did. They want to start at Nightbird, and suddenly next day open the restaurant, and the third day they open a chain, and then in the fourth day, they become an empire. People don't get the time to know that there is a journey, and people are very, and this is something that you just said that for me is critically important. I want to ask you, I know you had a super busy because you just served lunch. I have a final question that I try to make to everybody that I'm talking to. And what would you say if you had the chance to talk to your 20-year-old self? What would you say to Kim Outer about her career, her journey? So what advice would you give to yourself?
If I could go back in time, I would definitely say to take more time for myself. And that sounds probably really selfish if you don't know me, but I never went on vacation. I missed my grandparents' funerals. I missed all my friends' weddings because it was not okay to take time off. And the higher end restaurant you were at, or the different position that you were in, you weren't able to. I missed funerals. I had to quit jobs sometimes to go to a funeral. And I thought that was normal. And I've definitely tried to make that not normal in my restaurant because of what I went through. But if I could go back, I'd be like, hey, maybe you should take a week off and go to the beach, and realize that sometimes you need those times to decompress so you can be more open-minded and can be creative. I'm experiencing that right now, being a year deep in COVID and working every day and cooking thousands of meals a week, and hustling on the side to do other projects to make money and make sure that the bills can be paid. I'm exhausted, and it's harder for me to be creative right now, even though technically we have all this time, because I'm just constantly running. So I would definitely tell myself, take a breath, walk around the block, and make sure to read a book every now and again and take some time for yourself.
That's fantastic, Ken. For those who are listening, you should have. I'm just waiting COVID to come to an end. So in my next trip to the West Coast, I would love to visit, because if you see her work, I saw her talk at Google when she was teaching, about the use of sustainable products, and this. So it's to find a unique path to your career, and this, Kim, is exactly what you did. So you tried to find. I am really surprised when I heard you saying that when you were 15, you start, thinking about that. At 18, you were already working, and this is really an inspiration for us. And one of the key things for me about talking to you, and this is why I invited you, is exactly because you bring a non-traditional perspective. Because many times when people think, as you started, people think, oh, you must go to college and this is the path, and thinking that there is only one road to success, to life fulfillment, and there are many. Ken, I just don't want to forget Rima, that introduced you to me, to give me this opportunity. So, Kim, thank you very much for your time. For those who are listening, thank you very much for that. Okay, I wish you success and all the best, Kin, for you. After COVID, a lot of success. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Kin. Thank you.